for those of you I have not met, my name is Brian Shanley. I am the resort general manager. I just wrapped up my 16th year managing our resort in Ohio. I've said many times, if you told me I'd be in Ohio for 16 years, being from most of my career in the South, I would have probably said I was in prison. But then I met Todd Nelson, the owner, and it's been an amazing journey with Todd and the company. And we could not be more excited about coming to Spotsylvania County. I think it's the best location that we have. Just watching 95 and all that traffic, and just an ideal location. So we are super excited about it. And one of the things that has made a big difference is, we get a lot of people say, "Hey, build one of these in our town," and we ask, how everybody gets along in the community, and people usually say, "Yeah, well, we're working on it," but in this situation, it's been just a wonderful, wonderful partnership, and we intend to continue that. And so we're just very appreciative of everybody in the community. I've lived in a lot of places. Virginia, I'm moving to very soon, as soon as I sell a home in Ohio, and I'll be moving here. Every single person I meet says, "Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you." And having moved around to 6 other states, that doesn't always happen. So it's just a warm and welcoming community, and we appreciate that on an individual and personal basis, as well as the company. I'm a father of five. Family is really important to me in many, many ways, and I think it is to most everyone. But I'm a family guy. My number one job is to be a husband and a father. And then on the part-time gig, I manage resorts, and I've managed them in a lot of different places. Most of my career in Orlando, Florida. Go Gators if I can. But we, like I said, been in Ohio for 16 years and moving down. So the resort is going to be our best yet. We have multiple of them, but this is going to be the best. I'll give you a little background on the company. We intended to try to come to Fredericksburg area back in 2008. I got to tour a group that came in to Ohio to see that resort back then. I got to pick them up at the airport and show them around. So I've had a file labeled Virginia, Kalahari for quite some time, but it's finally, coming to fruition. But to answer some basic questions, so what is Kalahari? First and foremost, family. That's the most important thing. Is we're a family business. Todd Nelson, the founder, is right smack in the middle of that picture with his lovely wife Sherry, and the 5 kids are in the back row with him and with their spouses. All kids are involved in the business. It could not be more of a family business than what we have. Travis is on the screen far left with his wife. Travis is now the president of the company. In title. Todd's president, CEO, and all that. It's a very flat organization. We all report to Todd. He is the compass that guides us, and a visionary like few will ever meet. Just an incredible guy with a great passion. He is so involved in the business that if I give somebody $50 discount on their room for last night, he's texting me at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning saying what happened. So he's not somebody that sits back and watches things. He's heavily involved, and all of our team is involved as well, from top to bottom. And so we're a family business. What do we have? Award-winning convention and event facilities. Our meeting space is on par with anybody in the country. When we build space, we talk to meeting planners all over the country. We talk to people that unload in docks of convention centers to find out what their needs are. We've put everything from electric and data to, in Ohio, we have compressed air in floor boxes throughout the facility, water, whatever is needed, we do. So we build the infrastructure, both high tech and very well thought out designs. You can see one of our ballrooms here, which is going to look very similar. This is a picture of our Texas resort, but Virginia will look very much like this one. Secondly, we're also known to be the largest indoor water parks in America. Um, that is something we've been known for quite some time, and we like to do it big. And I'll show you later a picture of one of the slide structures that's in the facility. But that's one of the things that we're known for. What people don't realize is, the boss got his start in the food and beverage business, and we are a food and beverage company through and through. We take it very seriously, and I say we love our food and beverage so much that we build hotels and water parks and convention centers just so we can feed more people food. So we have some great restaurants coming, an amazing steakhouse. We have 4 signature dining concepts, the Double Cut Steakhouse, Sortino's Italian Kitchen, modern Italian kitchen, Cinco Niños. Todd has 5 kids. So do I, but he got to name it. It's Cinco Niños, 5 kids. Great Mexican kitchen. And then B-Lux, which is a burger, shakes, and fries restaurant. And so those are the 5. There's 17 total food and beverage outlets, including coffee shops and bars, etc. And I also mentioned we have a great piano bar, which is very fun and interactive, called Red's Piano Bar. So those are some of the signature restaurants that we have. And we have adventure parks, indoor adventure parks, like we like to call them. Inside the one in Virginia, we will have go-kart track, laser tag arenas, XD dark rides. You can see climbing walls. To the left of where the girl in the blue is on the screen, you should see the outline of a red mini roller coaster inside. We'll have a mini Ferris wheel inside the one in Virginia. So, and then hundreds and hundreds of arcade games, redemption games, and all kinds of fun stuff. A human crane where you are the crane claw, so that you're lifted up and poked down into the machine, and you can pick up a prize with your arms. So anybody that's not done a human crane, it'll be a lot of fun. So our
Brian, before
locations.
you move on, we had one
Sure,
quick question about dining. I know we're going to have lots of questions about how we all access the parks
sure.
being locals, but will the dining be open to the general public, or do you have to be a guest of the resort to eat at the restaurants?
Oh no, it's open to the general public, absolutely anytime. So here's our locations. First one was in Wisconsin. Second one, that was in 2005. We opened in Sandusky, Ohio. 2014 in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. In 2020, we opened in Round Rock, Texas, just outside of Austin. And to let people know how important dates are to us and making dates, Todd set the opening date for um, November 12th of 2020. He set that in 2015 and started construction, and we did not let COVID slow us down, and we opened on time in November of 2020. It was quite an amazing process to get that thing open through the pandemic, but we did, and had a great first year, and it's gone just wonderfully well. Spotsylvania County opening in November of 26. If you want to write this down, it's 584 days until we open. Not that I'm counting, but I'm counting every single day. So we're so excited. And because we're in a big growth mode, and that's where Mr. Nelson is at his best. We have announced another resort, and that will be in Allen, Texas, in the Dallas Metroplex area. So believe it or not, 2 resorts in one state, but the demand is there. The partnership with the local government officials is there. So they're wooing us, and it looks like we're going to go there next. And we've still got a few other pins on the map of places we'd like to go. And knowing Todd Nelson, he'll build more. He's pretty excited about it. So, and just to let you know what we do, the resort I have been at in Ohio opened in 2005. That is about the same size that we will open at in Virginia. And that property alone has about $179 million worth of additions that he's planning to do to a property that's 20 years old. So we don't stop there. We're going to build something that he's done in Wisconsin, build some tree houses, ground houses, and some tiny houses. People love that. He's doing that, plus adding on to the water park, making it bigger, adding guest rooms. So these resorts work, and they work very well, and we don't stop once we open. That's just the beginning point, certainly not the end point. So 135 acre site. We're developing 93 acres, just shy of 1.4 million square feet of developed space. Everybody asks a few common questions. Will there be enough parking for all that? Yes, 2,800 parking places. And we don't spend $900 million unless we think a lot of things through and we have some experience. There'll be some things that pop up, but we're gonna make a huge investment with the project of $900 million. Like I mentioned, 17 food and beverage outlets, 4 retail stores. We have an event barn planned, fitness center. There's 907 guest rooms and suites. We have 1, 2, and 3 bedroom suites. Convention center, 160,000 square feet. Main ballroom is 30,000 square feet. So picture 2,000 people for dinner, seated dinner at banquet round tables, just in that one room. Indoor water park's about 154,000 square feet. Well designed, great layout to the park. Very, very inviting. Family entertainment center, 110,000 square feet. And I didn't mention that the Belux restaurant is inside that family entertainment center. And inside Belux, there's 12 lanes of bowling. So that's all part of that family entertainment center area. Here's an overview of the resort from above. The main building in the middle of that X going northeast to northwest to southeast, right in the core. That's the main building. Most of the restaurants are in there and on level 1 of that large X. On the left is the water park and family entertainment center. That's on the US 95 side. And on the right, the big white box there is the convention center on the Patriot Highway side. So the main entrance is to your left, the little brown porte cochere sticking off the building. That's the main entrance, coming off of Patriot Highway there and looping around. And you can see that from the separation there of the hotel and then the 2 different sides, we say we separate the suites from the suites. The business suites go to the right to the convention center. The swimsuits go to the left towards the water park. And you can go to either one and not know the other one even exists, if you wish. Here's a front view of the front entrance. And there's this slide complex that I talked about. You can see all the slides are going to be popping through the walls and exposing Spotsylvania County's newest water park to everyone on 95.
Brian, quick question. Are there any outdoor pool areas or is it all just indoors?
Yes, I think, let me see if that shows. Yeah, just north of the X there, you can see some outdoor swimming pools right there. There's a very large, I think that pool came in at around maybe 14,000 square feet on that main pool outside. So a beautiful outdoor park, just amazing, in the summer with the island music going and a umbrella drink in your hand.
Sounds wonderful. If you're looking for any testers, I'm sure anybody on this call would be happy to come before it's open and test it for you all.
That sounds good. We can't wait for that. We've been blessed with great partners with the state tourism department, and they've shared that Virginia is for water park lovers. I've been in multiple states on multiple state boards for hotel associations, and one of the things, except Orlando, Visit Orlando is a powerhouse as a DMO, but everywhere else I've been, in all the other states, everybody uses an example of Virginia's tourism as how to communicate an effective message and how to get out there something that pretty much everybody knows. It's iconic, and you guys should be very, very grateful for what they've done there, because it is a model that most states judge themselves by. So that's a little bit about us. Any
Yeah.
questions? Let me know.
Oh, yes. We have lots of questions. So at this point, I certainly have some to start. And then please, y'all, put them in the chat or unmute. Would love to hear what you have to say. I mean, obviously, very excited about the project itself. It's amazing, and I'd love to entertain more questions from folks about the park itself. But I did want to get into a little bit of like the background. And Kevin, this might be where you come in too. So thinking about the impact to the county, how many jobs are you all bringing into the region?
Well, it'll be, we're estimating at about 1,400. The actual numbers that we've run, I think, is 805 full-time positions and 700 and change part-time positions. And we're very flexible depending on, each market situation. If we have a lot of people, if you want to work 2 days a week on the weekends, and you're good, great, we'll take you 2 days. We don't have to have everybody working full time. We'll take great people at whatever hours they want. We have baristas in our Starbucks that they get their kids on the school bus and they come to work and they're out by the time they get done. So different jobs, different hours. We do work where when people play. We're 24 and 7, 365 days a year, but about 1,400 people, give or take, is what it will take to get it open and running efficiently.
And do you all anticipate being able to source those jobs from the local labor market, or will you be bringing people in from elsewhere?
Well, when we do a search, I'm coming from somewhere else. We need to bring some people that get our culture at any level that they're willing. I have people that are in housekeeping, people in the water park and maintenance that say, Brian, I want to come with you to Virginia. I'd love to have, a couple key people in each position that understands our culture, that can help us to, it's very, very important. Culture is huge to us. And, as a family business, you either get us or you don't. We're, not for everybody, but we want to be the employer of choice. We want to be the best, treat our people better than anyone does. And we're pretty committed to that. So, we won't bring that many people all told. When we recruit for an executive chef for the property, that's going to be a nationwide plus search. And if the best person is in the area, then, absolutely they have, an advantage because they're already there and they know the area. But the great majority of the people will be people we're going to find in the local area. So your friends, neighbors, you, and your kids. We're looking for anybody that wants to be a part of something special.
So, from a employee perspective, did you all think about or look at the cost of housing in the area? Did that play into your decision at all? Or, and I guess, I mean, you're obviously nationwide. We think our housing is very expensive locally because it's, all relative. But how did you all look at housing, if at all?
Yeah, it is always a factor. That's it's, let me say this to realtors. I don't know why. Location, location, location. It's the best location. I mean, it's just the perfect spot for us. So yeah, everything's relative from there. Labor is more costly in certain markets that we operate in, and it's harder to source people in certain markets than others. Austin, Texas is a hospitality rich area, and there's a lot of hospitality professionals already living there. Sandusky, Ohio has Cedar Fair, now Six Flags, based in that town, but that's just one park with a lot of seasonal workers. So it's very competitive there, and it's a very, very small market. So we have people that are willing to drive 45 minutes for an hourly job that, in most cities, you wouldn't even consider that. So each market's different.
And Kevin, I guess I'll kick just like that question to you. Do you feel like, we have ample labor supply already in Spotsylvania County? Do you, Kevin, the board anticipate people will be moving to the region for for these kind of jobs? And then traffic, how does that all kind of interact with traffic since 95 is a beast on a good day?
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't control incidents that happen on 95, and we won't have, the Kalahari traffic that you'll see. Um, the best example I can give for folks here that are local, if you visit Virginia Beach or Myrtle Beach, a bunch of us around, in this part of the state, go to those two places to vacation. When you pull into one of the big resorts or one of the big hotel chains that are on the strip at either one of these beaches, very seldom do you ever wait in line to get checked in. There may be one customer in front of you, but there's no, you've got 500 and 600 room hotels side by side, and there's no traffic backup. This being a resort in the convention center market, um, when we did the traffic impact analysis that VDOT required, it came back. I wanted a traffic light at the entrance because I thought it would make it safer and more efficient for everyone. We didn't show the numbers that we couldn't justify a traffic signal through state highway department. Um, on all honesty, the peak hours, the TIA was the same as the new Wawa at the courthouse here in Spotsylvania for
Mm.
numbers because you have people coming from so many different places. You do have a 900 room resort, but not everybody shows up at one time. So we've designed the entrance there. As you see, it's got plenty of room within the facility. If you have a major event there to, where everybody would show up at one time, there's plenty of room to stack cars within the facility. And with 2,800 parking spots, everyone is going to have a place to park. So we're not too concerned about a major traffic impact at all. And like I say, the state highway department with VDOT, they wouldn't even give us a traffic light. So with 95, if there's a wreck in Stafford County, my county gets filled up with traffic.
Right.
That's just beyond our control right now. It's nothing I can do. They've done they've made the improvements to 95, and they've created a bottleneck here in Spotsylvania County right now. And that's not anything related to Kalahari. That's just I know they have future plans to continue improving 95, but until that happens, we unfortunately are the neck of the bottle. And I wish it was something we could do. We are looking in the county at um, with our comp plan creating connector roads, but that takes money, and of course, it's I'd like if we ever got the Germanna Point connector, that would help when we have traffic back up on 95. And if we could ever connect Maspondix Church to 17, that would also give you another thoroughfare as well. I know that's on our comp plan, so we're planning for it, of course. But the, uh, the they fixed the problem in Fredericksburg and in Stafford to some degree with the improvements with the Rappahannock River crossing, but they created a problem here in Spotsylvania for us.
Now, Kevin, will those improvements that are happening right now, those will all be done by the time the facility opens in 2026? Yes.
Yes, I
It
actually
looks
got
like it's close.
some information on that yesterday. The construction project you see going on at Thornburg was scheduled to be completed in June of this year. It's now it has some delays because of the weather. We're looking more towards August or September is what VDOT relayed to me actually yesterday for the completion of the roundabout and the widening of 606 between Patriot Highway and 95.
Okay.
And on the job market, I'm happy to say right now that I just pulled some numbers. Our unemployment rate here in the county is at 2.7%, one of the lowest numbers we've ever had. But I went through Virginia Career Works with the state and looked at some numbers and have continually monitored those numbers throughout the build of Kalahari. And we still feel pretty confident within our region that we won't have Kalahari will not have a problem finding employees.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's great. Um, So we have had a few questions about like what is the pass structure for the facility? Will locals be able to get day passes, season passes? Will there be any sort of resident discount? How will that kind of ticketing structure look?
As far as day passes, that is an opportunity that we have. There's a lot of variables that go into it based on the occupancy of the resort. So somebody renting a room is getting water park passes included in the price of the room. If the hotel is full and it is, say, a cold day and everybody is staying inside, that would put a lot of people in the water park, and I would not sell any or as many outside passes because the resort guests come first. If it's a slow day or a warm day where everybody's spread out from the indoor to the outdoor to the family entertainment center and a couple meetings going on in the convention center, the crowd is spread out, and I can sell a lot more because it's the capacity is there. The capacity is always there. It's a matter of what the experience is that we're trying to control. So we don't want everybody standing in a very, very long line. They're long lines sometimes, but we try to control that with the number of passes that we sell from the outside. But the resort is open to the public at all times. The water park does require a pass. And there are attractions in like bowling in the family entertainment center that are you have to pay to do, but you can come in and bowl anytime and dine in the restaurants anytime.
Okay. So yes to day passes, but no, there's not going to be like a season pass or a local resident discount.
Yes, there is. We'll figure that out. It's by market.
Okay.
Again, the Austin market has a strong, just based on the size of that community in Round Rock and Austin, there's a lot of people that'll buy a day pass. We do it at the other resorts, probably not as much demand there, but it's certainly something that we will do. I don't have the details of what that will
Okay.
be like.
So that hasn't been
Um,
figured out yet, the pricing structure and stuff
the
for this
pricing structure,
location.
yeah, and it's variable pricing. It's like an airline flight or a toll on the expressway.
Mhm.
It is yielded based on demand. So there can be
Okay.
days where the water park access is $59 and days where it's $100.
Right. Absolutely. Military discounts, is that something you typically give? We have a big military presence in this region.
Yes, that is definitely something that we will have. We certainly support military and are indebted. So yes, we will have a good discount program. I don't, those rates haven't been figured out
Right.
yet.
Understood. Okay.
And that's typically, we would do a percentage off of specific, whatever the rate is. If rate goes up or down, it'd be a percentage off to keep it, balanced with that. But we'll also do uh, some days where we say, a special day for, for veterans or active, we'll on lower days, you know, we would want to do something special on those days to bring some people in, let them have some fun.
Yeah. So I had a question that's, basically asking, do you have data from other jurisdictions on what the local impact has been once a new park has opened? So trying to think of some of those newer parks. I know this is not, there's not a lot other going on in the Thornburg area. This is kind of going to be like the premier thing down there. But do you have data on sort of local impacts in other jurisdictions once a park is opened?
If my occupancy, no, I don't have, any data in front of me that I can spout out. I can tell you this, when my occupancy at the resort is low, I get texts from local restaurant owners going, where are all the wristbands at?
Okay.
Because they're slow too, and they kind of know the rhythm of the different groups and the different seasons. A group of bankers, maybe 2,000 bankers in town, they're eating at my Double Cut steakhouse. They're not going down the street to the Olive Garden and the Chick-fil-A. Um, but cheerleading group with 2,000 cheerleaders participating, plus all their family and all their brothers and sisters. They're at Chick-fil-A. They're flooding the local restaurants,
Right.
and everybody's excited about it, but that's the economic impact. People are saying, hey, what's going on? Why don't I have any wristbands down here? So yeah, it's a ripple effect. It's not a tidal wave or a tsunami, but there's opportunistic people in a capitalist society. They're going to take advantage of, hey, there's an opportunity here. We have a base. We're going to draw 1 million people a year in to visit, and those people are going to go, wow, I didn't know all this cool stuff was in this area. We have a national convention come in. People come from all parts of the country, and they go, well, we never considered this, but I want to bring my family back here. I didn't realize all the cool stuff. And then they come back on a personal visit. So it's a ripple effect. It'll affect a lot of people in different ways, but positive. You can talk to any one of the communities we operate in, and they will rave about what we've done and the impact that we've had. And then there's a few that will like, I wish nobody else would move here after I did.
Oh, we don't know anything about that. So Kevin, this question's for you. So building on what he said already, obviously, and I didn't really think about and full disclosure, my really only experience going to this locally has been to go to Great Wolf Lodge, which operates, I think, a little bit differently. So there's not the same level of restaurants on site. I don't know that they have the same conference room capacity. I didn't even think about that, like big competitions. Is there a vision, Kevin, for down in Thornburg to have even more stuff come in down there to offer more of that kind of quick service or anything like that? Because Thornburg is still kind of, not out there, but it is kind of out there. There's not a ton around there as opposed to maybe South Point and Cosner's Corner.
Yeah, Thornburg is one of the few exits off of 95 with public utilities that hasn't been built out. We do have, of course, with Dominion Raceway on the other side of the interstate, there is a large entertainment venue with several different events, well, hundreds of events happening there throughout the course of the year. You will see there's 100 acres in between 606 and the Kalahari site that has been zone commercial for some time. As you ride through there right now, you'll see there's a Starbucks that is currently being constructed. You're going to see a few other fast food type service industry things there. But we're going to be very limited within the Thornburg area with that 606 project. We don't want to create a Route 3 atmosphere at Thornburg. So it's going to be a mix in the future. You'll see some low impact industrial, potentially nothing scheduled right now, but we're working through redoing the comp plan now, and we're cognizant of what's been built here before. Route 3 is an absolute mess. We don't want to create that on the Route 1 corridor through Thornburg. So you'll see some development, but it's going to be a slow build up around Kalahari. We're going to, controlled growth is, excuse me, probably the best term I can use for that, because we don't want to. We're limited with that roundabout. That's a 2-lane roundabout, and you can only put so much traffic through that corridor between 95 and Route 1, and we don't want to make that be a congestion area.
Okay, makes sense. So I have had a question, and I think we might have already touched on this, but from a housing perspective, are you going to offer specific employee housing, or is that for people to find on their own?
We do offer it only for current associates that work for us. So we will have a facility for that.
Will the resort have their own security team?
Absolutely. We will have a safety and security manager that manages emergency medical services at all hours that the water park is operating. So that is our biggest risk area. So we have an EMT, EMS manager, and then a team that's there, at least one or two people, depending on the volume at all times. And then the security team operates within that same team. And that team will probably be, there's a director and a manager, and then about 25. But it depends on, other factors there. If we want, a few part-time people here and there, and people want part-time and they're great, we'll take them. If they want full-time, even better. But about 25 on that team, I would say.
So we've had lots and lots of questions about season passes. People are very excited about the potential for season passes. So just to clarify, the ticket structure pricing is not available yet, but will there be an option for a season pass, or is
Yes.
it on a day-to-day? Yes. So we just don't know how
Yeah.
much those will cost yet. So we'll have to, I'll make a pledge at FAR that once we see that that stuff is available, we will share that with everybody, because I am just as interested as everybody else is in the potential for, because this sounds amazing. This does sound like a really, really cool place
Yeah,
in
it's
right in our backyard.
you have to drive a few miles to it, but you get to enjoy a world-class facility. And we've
That's
always said
amazing.
it's a world away. That was our slogan for a long time, because people go, wow, this place is 30 minutes, 1 hour from my home, and I feel like I flew to a destination. And I'm like, yeah, just come back. You don't have to drive or fly anywhere. You can go
Right.
home in 10 minutes, and it's okay.
Yeah,
To,
it's
to
great.
only drive 10 minutes. You don't have to go 2 hours away, or 6 hours away, or whatever, to go to a great place. We're a world away within. Once you enter our building, you can just relax and feel like you're a long way away.
Yeah, it's great. What is the capacity of the water park?
As far as people,
Yeah.
I've got 173,000 square feet in Ohio. I think that one has the capacity is just a massive number that we've never put in there, because the way we build them, there's a lot of exits, and that's what you need to evacuate people in that instance. But it's like 6 or 7 thousand people could go in there. We would never put that many people in there, because nobody would have any fun. So it isn't a matter of that kind of capacity. Each park is built a little bit differently to try and make it better every time, more efficiently designed, more effective, and more fun. So once we get in and start operating it, we will know a little bit more about um, how much capacity allows everybody to have fun. And like I said, it varies by the day. It can vary by the hour with uh, gymnastics competition, or volleyball tournaments in the convention center. There's waves of people coming in and out, so we have to judge that and calculate that. So, it varies. The fire escape plan number is not what we would use to say, okay, we have 5,000 people in there, we're not allowing any more in there. It's how long are the lines, how long are people waiting, and how you want to be able to find a table to sit at, a nice clean towel, and to be able to not stand in line for 4 hours for a ride.
Yeah, that's amazing. As someone who did not love Disney because all we did was wait in line, managed crowds sounds fantastic, especially when you're waiting with little kids. After 5 minutes, they feel like they've been waiting for 5 hours. So that's great.
We had 5 kids in 8 years. We went to a lot of water parks. I was GM and vice president of operations for Nickelodeon's first resort in Orlando. So
Oh,
I
wow.
learned a lot about. I thought I knew a lot about kids, but the Nick brand and what they were at the time to kids. Uh, I know a little bit about kids, and yeah, I'm with you there. I don't like standing in lines either, but there are lines. When you go to a popular place, there are a lot of people
Mhm.
there, and the tricks of the trade are, get to the water park early and get your
Right,
seat and enjoy those rides, and then in the evening, people are going to be taking their kids out and going to dinner. Hit those hot spots of time where there's not that many lines. Come in
right.
the off season. In the off seasons are really the time to go. I have some local people that come every New Year's Eve, and it's one of the busiest days of the year. Like, why would you come out here 10 minutes from your house on New Year's Eve, the busiest day with the most people? Just
Right.
wait until a slow day in September.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I know we have a few more questions and we'll get to those. There's some really good ones in the chat. What is the water usage like in a place like that? I just went to a water park not that long ago and I was just thinking about how much water gets put through the system. How does that work? And how do you recycle? How is that?
Sure, we use state-of-the-art equipment. Our water and air chemistry is some of the most important things we do. A lot of people don't understand how important the air quality is, but chlorinated water is going to give off chloramines. They're going to be in the air, and we need to keep that circulating. We need to remove things from the air and put fresh air into the building, conditioned air. The water is going to be about 84 degrees at all times, and the air is going to be a couple degrees warmer, about 86 to 87, because when you get out of the 84-degree water, you want to be warmer. So that water's got to be clean at all times. We've got high-tech equipment that's monitoring the water chemistry at all times. And then we have human beings, because computers can go down, computers can make mistakes, a reader can go bad. So we're checking bodies of water manually all the time. You fill up the water park with water, and a lot of it gets reused continually. We don't dump water into the sewer and drain the pools at night. We keep that water, and it's heated and it's treated. We want to keep it. So if you lose water or have to add water, you have to put chemicals in it, and you have to heat it back up. So we would use the same water over and over. We experience about an 11% evaporation rate from the water coming into the water coming out. On research we've done at other parks. As far as reusing, yes, we're going to recycle as much, but with 900 room resort, the guest rooms, they're going to use more water than the water park, because people are letting the water run. They're taking long hot showers, and they're flushing the toilet.
Okay, thank you. So we had a great question. What is the accessibility like for those with disabilities?
Well, fully accessible for most things. All water slides are not fully accessible. We do have things like water wheelchairs that someone could wheel into the wave pool and experience the wave pool from a water chair. But everything is fully ADA compliant and built with not only what the ADA requires on a building, but we've taken companies that have come in and guided us on, hey, we see you're compliant, but here's what you're missing from my standpoint. And then, we redesign based on what they're telling me. I had a guest after a remodel not long ago, a few years back, and the guy said, hey, can I show you a few things? And I'm like, absolutely. Rolls into the front door and he says, where's my blue sign indicating where I'm to go and get to the ramp somewhere? And I said, it's right there, sir. And he goes, you see how small it is and see how big your other signs are? I roll into your lobby, I'm looking for that blue sign. I would recommend it be quite a bit bigger. It's like, great. That's what we want to hear. So feedback from our guests. Like I said, this design is very, very similar to our Texas design. So we think we've worked out most of those bugs, but every building being a little bit different, and we adapt it.
Okay. Hey, Kevin, this is a question for you. I've had a couple questions about fire and EMS capacity. Do you expect the opening of the park to seriously increase your number of calls or not? Are you prepared if that is? How is that going with sort of coverage throughout the county once this does open?
Yeah, we looked at that about it's been a little bit over 3 years ago. I actually sent some leadership from our sheriff's office and from our fire and rescue folks out to Round Rock, Texas, to visit the facility, to talk with the folks in Texas at Kalahari about their security, and then they met with their security team. They also met with the folks there that handle the emergency management with the EMTs that they have there at the water park. But not only did we have them meet with the Kalahari staff, we also had them meet with the local police and the local fire and rescue of Round Rock, Texas. Call volumes, we checked some numbers. It's been a little over a year ago. I checked the numbers from with Bill Bryan. I think it was about 5 calls for local law enforcement at the Round Rock, Texas facility within a year. So not a huge call volume generator when it comes to law enforcement. With the safety of course, with fire and rescue, that many people, your main concern is not so much the someone getting hurt at the facility as far as in the water park, because they have safety measures in place, but you medical emergencies and things of that nature. But those numbers from Round Rock were also very low. They were not. Doesn't seem like it's going to be a big generator of call volume for local fire and rescue. The first responding unit would be Fire Company 8, which is right down the street, other side of the traffic light. I've got 24/7 coverage there with ALS capabilities, paramedic there 24/7. And their call volume, their numbers, there's room for them to expand there as far as the numbers. They're not at the threshold where a new firehouse needs to be built. You're on mute, Kim.
Thank you. So thank you. That was great. We had one person ask, will there be one grand opening or will there be different ones, maybe for local business professionals and then for like the public at large? How do you all envision that, if you've even thought about that yet?
We have a pre-opening office that is now open on Morris Road. The old bank building is our pre-opening sales and development and employment office. So we'll be occupying that. It's open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Stop on in anytime. See some great pictures and videos of the resort and learn a little bit about the employment opportunities. And people come in for 3 reasons: a construction job, a future job, and they want to cash a check. We don't cash checks, but it once did as a bank. But if you want to make a deposit, we're more than happy to take that. So there is a ribbon cutting for that office scheduled for later in the month or early May. As an official there, we're going to have a topping off party as soon as we can get up to the top floor on the building. And then we'll have one big grand opening for the resort.
So I couldn't help but noticing all the advertising has the elephant. Is there a significance to the elephant? Do the owners just like it? Where did the marketing come from?
Yeah, it became our logo in 2000 when Todd started the company, and just the one of the big 5 animals of Africa, and became the symbol of our brand. And the inspiration of Africa. There's such a diverse, culture there. It's from sub-Saharan desertish Africa that that you see to big bright lights of Johannesburg, and so much diversity and flavors in food, and it's just an amazing continent, and we're just in love with it. Todd's going this fall in a couple months with the whole family, and he goes on a buying spree and buys the art for the new resort, and each resort gets a few pieces. But he's a very relational guy. He meets all these artists all across different countries, and he talks to the artist. And if he connects with them personally, I think he's more of a person artist than looking at the quality of the art. It's great quality, but he wants to connect with the individual that made the stuff, and he wants to have those relationships. So he buys from who he likes, and he buys an amazing amount of art and brings it back and ships it to us. And they do a great job of telling the story of his trips to Africa and all the different exciting places he goes.
Yeah, that's wonderful. How interesting. Well, thank you. So one just follow-up question, Kevin, on the public safety side. Somebody asked if there's going to be any effort or will there need to be any effort to hire more deputies in the county, and do you envision maybe in the future a substation would have to be located near the facility? I'm assuming you're only getting 5 calls a year. I guess that doesn't change much, but has that been thought about if it becomes necessary?
We've had some discussions on doing substations through Edge County. If we were going to put a substation anywhere right now in Spotsylvania County, it would be in the 4 Mile Fork area. If anybody watched the Spotsylvania when they were on the live PD show, they filmed the whole season of live PD in about 6 parking lots. So we would put it where it was a higher crime area and a higher potential. That would be a call, of course, that we would end up funding it, but sheriff he would have to make a call on when he wants to move forward with that. We don't have anything in the CIP right now to do a substation. With the low number of calls that we're seeing at the other facilities, no need to do a substation at Kalahari. Kalahari went above and beyond in the beginning of this construction. There were some homes and barns there, and I was getting calls all the time because, you'd see 10 or 12 police cars there because Kalahari allowed our law enforcement to use those structures for training, and they got to conduct several months of training there. I'm sure if we would ever had any major issues, that Kalahari would be a good community partner with us and work on something if we had a problem.
Okay. Well, I know our time is getting short, so Kevin, I have one final closing question for sort of the vision of the county moving forward. Do you see or have any other like large businesses you're looking to recruit? Status of data centers, just a quick kind of down and dirty on what else, because obviously Kalahari is like the biggest thing going on in the county now, but certainly not the only thing. So any other big highlights to share?
Yeah, I mean the data center industry with AWS's announcement and with the powerhouse data centers, two huge, large tax generating uh, businesses. It's going to be and they're encompassing 4 sites in the county, 36 total data centers over about a 15-year build out, 250,000 square foot of building, 30 jobs per building. Average tax revenue is looking to be, depending on what study you look at, about 15 to 18 million a building. So that's huge, huge numbers coming into the county tax coffers, meaning that we'll be able to have great quality of life here in Spotsylvania at a low tax rate, which is wonderful for us. Do have a couple new restaurants opening in the county here very shortly. First Watch is one of them. I think a lot of folks are excited about that. Opened up Flame and Salsa, but it's Fuego y Salsa in the old El Patron location at College's Corner. Great restaurant, family owned and operated, but they are first started in Richmond. Very, very good food there. And we're as far as the future of Spotsylvania County. I mean, that's the goal. I mean, overall, for any locality, you want a high quality of life, and you don't want it to cost you an arm and a leg. Um, and that's the that's the vision that we have. We want to be able to have nice things, have great public services as far as our parks and rec, along with our public safety as well. We want to continue to have great coverage, but all these things cost money, and we've got to keep that in mind. And we love it when we have large businesses like Kalahari because just this is a low end projection, but the first year that Kalahari is open, we're projecting them to put $6.8 million in tax revenue into the county tax coffers. That's a huge number. That's several pennies off the tax rate, and that helps pay our salaries for our local law enforcement and all our county employees. So it's when you have a business like that that's coming, that's good. It's good news for the taxpayer.
Yeah, that's significant. Well, Brian, Kevin, thank you so much. Brian, this was so interesting and informative. I mean, I've gone to your website a couple of times, but got so much information from you that I just didn't glean from the website. I personally am very excited for the addition to Kalahari to our region. I know my children cannot wait until it opens. We will be one of those day pass purchasers who comes off season to enjoy your great offerings. And Kevin, thank you always for coming to our meetings and sharing information on the county. If there's any other questions, I'm happy to entertain them, but I think we're right at about 1 o'clock. And this has been really wonderful. So thank you for your time and attention. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your day.